Stop believing the lies that have been ingrained in you from childhood. I want to tell you guys something. You never had a chance to develop a sense of self and a sense of identity because you were placed in an environment that was unhealthy and that was toxic. Now that you're an adult, you're thinking, I must be the problem. What's wrong with me? And I get it and I understand it, but I want you guys to understand the why behind why you are the way you are today. Do you know how many clients I've worked with over the years who come in and say, I'm afraid of making a mistake, I'm afraid of failure, I'm afraid of making decisions. There's just a lot of fear, there's a lot of anxiety, and for what? Because of the environment that they were in. Think about it. When you were born, you were a blank slate. And as you've gotten older, you started to internalize the environment that was around you. And maybe you internalized great things about your environment, but sometimes we internalize not so great things about our environment. Sometimes the people around us make us feel terrible about who we are. You may have been in survival mode for a really long time. You may have been called worthless by your mom, worthless by your peers, worthless by your teachers. Oh, he'll never amount to anything. Oh, that kid? Don't even bother. He's not worth it. Guess what's happening? You are internalizing all the messaging that the outside world is telling you about you. You did not have a chance to develop a positive self-esteem, a positive identity. You did not have a chance to develop autonomy. You have been in survival mode from a very young age. And now that you're an adult, you're now saying to yourself, I must be the problem. No, you were never the problem, ever. Your environment was the problem. You've internalized the lies that have been placed on you, okay? The lie is that you're not worthy. The lie is you're not deserving. The lie is if you ask for help, you're being a burden. Think about it. You did not wake up at your age with all of these thoughts and feelings about yourself. It comes from somewhere. And I guarantee it comes from your childhood or your teenage years. Okay, so think about growing up in a home. You have a very cold parent. They're not very emotional. So guess what you now internalize? Emotions aren't great. Emotions are bad. I'm too sensitive. I'm weak. I'm vulnerable. You're learning that all of these things are not good. So as you get older and you try to experience an emotion or you experience emotions, you bury them. You bury the emotions because you think it's bad. Then you think, I'm bad. There's something wrong with me. Or you may become very cold yourself. You may become a very logical person with your thought patterns. And you think that this is very normal. You think that this is the way to be, this is very normal. I'm going to tell you, it's not normal. It is not the way to be. You are a human being who's deserving of acknowledging your emotions, validating your emotions, and feeling your emotions. We are all deserving of that. But you were taught somewhere along your life that it's a bad thing, that it's a weak thing, that it's a vulnerable thing. It is not. It's just that your environment told you that. We also have to start seeing the people around us for who they are now that we're an adult. When we're a child, we have no idea. We have no idea that our parents have their own issues. And then we go to school and we're wondering, how come this person is making fun of me? We have no idea that they may be going through something at home. They may just be a mean kid. They may just be a bully. We have no idea what's happening. But the messaging is, I must have done something wrong. And we tend to grow with that. And because of that messaging, what happens is we tend to meet people who now corroborate that same messaging. So you may get into relationships that are abusive. You may have friends that are bullies, they're nasty, they treat you poorly. So guess what you say? I'm the common denominator. You're right, you are the common denominator. But the reason why you're the common denominator is because you weren't you weren't given the skills and the tools to know how to navigate certain types of relationships. You've just been in survival mode. So you had no idea how to set boundaries. You had no idea how to say no. You were essentially like, it was ingrained in you that if you say no, then maybe you'd get hit. Maybe something bad would happen. Maybe your parents would ice you out. Maybe you'd get the silent treatment. So saying no wasn't a good thing. Saying no, it was a lot of fear, especially in childhood. And then you're going through teenage years, you want to fit in, so you try to do what you can to fit in. You may start buying kids gifts, you may start saying yes to everything, you become a people pleaser, but your sense of self has been lost. It's been lost, and it hasn't even been lost, it hasn't even been developed. Your sense of identity and self has not been developed. And now that you're an adult, you have become this people pleaser. You've become this person who isolates themselves. You've become this person who thinks, why is everyone against me? Why is the world against me? And you're still thinking from the narrative of a child as opposed to an adult who can take a step back and say, you know what? It's not me. But it's hard to get there because we believe the lies that have been told about us. And what we have to do is get unstuck. We have to detach ourselves from those lies. We have to recognize that I never had a chance to become who God has created me to be. I never had a chance to develop a sense of self, identity, creativity, self-esteem, worth, because it was never fostered. It was never reinforced in your life. All that was reinforced was pain, suffering, and fear. Fear of abandonment, fear of rejection. Anytime you made a decision, you probably had a parent tell you, you're wrong, what's wrong with you? Or why would you do that? Or maybe they made all the decisions for you. Or you date someone who nobody really likes and everyone's telling you that you're wrong. So if you're told that you're wrong for trying, if you're told that you're wrong for making decisions, then how do you think you're going to feel as an adult trying to make decisions? You're going to be afraid. You're not going to want to make a decision. You're not going to want people to tell you that you're wrong. You don't want to fear failure because there's going to be someone right beside you saying, oh, you shouldn't have done that. Oh, why did you do that? Oh, you made that mistake. Oh, what's wrong with you? And that's the worst. A lot of us don't want to hear what's wrong with you. In actuality, there's absolutely nothing. Like I've said, nothing is wrong with us. But the environment that we were raised in made us feel like there's something wrong with us. And we internalized it, and we keep internalizing it because of the people that we're choosing to be around as an adult. Because I guarantee, I always tell people, I've always told my clients this in therapy. When they start therapy, I always tell them, the people who are standing beside you may not be the people that are going to be with you midway through your journey or towards the end. And our journey never ends, right? We're always constantly growing, but we tend to start to see people for who they are. And as we change and as we grow, our sense of self becomes stronger, our identity becomes stronger, we start to set boundaries, we start to become less afraid of being who we are, who God has called us to be. We start to get angry. We start to say, enough is enough. And then sometimes we're afraid of that. We're afraid of the person who we want. We're afraid of the person who we are becoming. Why? Because it looks different from the person that we've been all these years. But I'm here to tell you, don't be afraid of that person. Don't be afraid of the person that you are becoming, because that is the person you have been meant to be your entire life. But it's different, right? It feels strange. It feels uncomfortable. People are looking at you differently. People are saying, oh, you think you're better than me now? Or you have an attitude. You've changed. Yeah, I have changed. I'm glad that you see I've changed. And I embrace that change because I'm starting to connect with myself. I'm starting to love myself. I'm starting to let go of the lies that have been placed on me, and I'm stepping into my purpose. I'm stepping into my sense of identity, and I'm starting to love myself. I'm falling in love with myself. And it's not a ego thing, it's not a narcissist thing, so please don't think that about yourself. It is just you are now learning and grasping the tools and the knowledge about who you are, and this has been years in the making. But your old self is still going to want to fight, right? They're going to want to fight for survival. They're like, no, I'm not going anywhere. So they tell you, you're going to fail at this. Who do you think you're becoming? You're going to alienate everyone around you. What's happening is your inner critic is starting to surface. Your inner critic is telling you, no, you can't do this. No, you're going to fail. You're pushing everyone away. No one is going to like you. Your inner critic is trying to drown the new you. But I'm here to tell you that you have to fight that inner critic. And it's very normal and it's very natural for you to have that inner critic, because that inner critic it's all the voices from childhood up until this point of you deciding to make a change in your life. You have to make that change. So the inner critic is going to try to thrive, but you have to dim its light. You have to dim its light, and you dim its light by saying, no, I'm allowed to thrive. What happened to me was not right. This is me having a sense of self. I am worthy. I am deserving. And if I fall, I'm going to get back up. That's a part of life. And I'm not going to continue to beat myself up. I'm not going to continue to kick myself when I'm down. I'm not going to be that person anymore. What you need to do is breathe life into you. Is it easier said than done? Definitely easier said than done. But you need to be on repeat, on repeat, on repeat. Because the narrative that you have, the story that you have of yourself has been 20-something years in the making, 30-something years in the making, 40-something years in the making, 50-something years in the making. It doesn't go away that easy, and it's not going to go away without a fight. But you have to be prepared. You have to be prepared to say, I am not that version, or I am not the story. I am not the narrative that people have told me I am. I am me. And now it is my chance to live the life that I've been called to live. And a part of that is getting to know yourself, getting to know your likes, your dislikes, your hobbies, what do you stand for, your purpose. Like, it's about connecting with yourself on a deeper level by just being with yourself, sitting with yourself, taking yourself on a date, getting to know yourself, engaging in self-talk, writing in your journal about yourself. You need to learn how to connect with you. How I connected with me was through God. I connected with myself through God because I believed a particular narrative of myself that was not true. I believed, and I didn't realize that I had a negative narrative until I got into the field that I got into. I became a therapist and I started to do the work on myself, and I'm like, okay, I didn't realize that I walked around thinking that I didn't deserve all the things that other people had. I didn't realize that I had that lens on. But now that the lens is off, it's like, you can't tell me anything. You can't tell me that I'm not deserving. You can't tell me that I can't reach for the purpose that God has put into my life. So all I'm telling you is that we all have had this narrative placed upon us. We need to separate ourselves from that narrative. And we need to create a new narrative, a new story. And we can only do that by getting to know who we are and grounding ourselves in that foundation. Yes, it's going to be a fight. Yes, you're going to lose people, but you have to ask yourself, who are the people that I'm losing? Do I really want to hold on to these people that want to continue to foster the narrative that I'm unworthy? Or do I want to move forward with people who can breathe life into me and where they're going to encourage me to breathe life into myself? You are worth more than you think you are, and I really hope that one day you wake up and you see that. All right, I'm going to end here. Take care of yourself, guys, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye for now.